Hello, hello, and welcome back to Playing Hide and Seek. This is episode 21, where today we're going to be talking about redefining the masculine and feminine roles. So, in our last episode, we talked a lot about what's happening to our young men and opened up this dialogue about really men and women, the masculine, the feminine, and where we are on the planet. So, today I wanted to continue this conversation with my dear friends. Sunshine Lane and Jacqueline Kane, and I'm excited to be here with you. It's really this is our first episode of 2026, and there's lots of stuff going on in the world and within our own worlds, and um, I love being able to connect with both of you and us have this really heartfelt conversation, right? My intention, our intention is to really just connect inward, open up, speak our truth, and let our light shine in the world. And it doesn't feel easy right now. It doesn't feel like that's even possible sometimes because of the external noise, the drama in our life, the family, the stuff that's going on within our governments and humanity and just everything, right? So I'm going to take a deep breath. It's a lot. And so, first, I just want to introduce each of you. So, Jacqueline, why don't you share with our audience just how amazing you are?
Thank you, Alana. So I am Jacqueline Kane, and I am founder of the ATM method. It's my system, the Abundance Transformation Method, where I help people get to the root cause of their physical and emotional and financial pain so that they can finally live the life they love.
We all could use you in our life. All right, Miss Sunshine, tell everyone how amazing you are.
Well, thank you. So happy to be here. And Jacqueline, it's amazing, incredible what you do it and you, Alana. I'm an international medium and energy healer and soul spiritual life coach and author. And I just believe that we all have gifts. And it's remembering our gifts, not learning them, but remembering what we're here to do and what our gifts are. And I just feel like working with people, it's actually your soul calling that in on what you need, right? So it's just being open to that and then listening to your higher self on what magical healing is to be transpiring and taking place with love, ease, and grace. So I love that part about it, but it's always the person that's doing the work, right? I'm getting called in to do it. So thank you for having me here today.
Mm.
Hey, well, it's nice to be here, and I'll share just a little bit about who I am. My name's Alana Heim. My business is Prosperity Alignment. And I say business, but really it's my soul essence that comes through because to me, everything ties back to prosperity, which is within yourself, within your cells, within all parts of you, even all across the multiverse. I know that right now it's a time of not so much doing as much as being. And really, what I bring to the table is there's all kinds of tools and things on under my tool belt, but it's me being in this space of being able to stabilize and really be the energy that people can bring in coherence from their physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, and integrate, embody. And to me, that's what we're all learning is how can we actually create more capacity to be the energy of love, not just hold love, but to radiate and be that love. So that's what I'm bringing today as we open up this conversation. And I think there's a lot to be said, and that each of us have our own experiences, which is really to me the treasures, right? So even as you're watching or listening, you're going to have your own experiences and treasures too, in the way of how you've lived life, the things that you've seen, you've witnessed, you've been a part of, and they're all valid and they're all part of your truth. And so today, as we share our own experiences being women in a world that, in the past, it's been heavily masculinated, or the masculine kind of ran the world, even though we knew women were behind the scenes. And sometimes there's those kinds of sayings that are like, behind every good man is a, the woman that's in charge. And there is power and truth in it. And I think this is the part where, because our world was so heavily based in fear, men may have had this fear of women. And so the best way to shut us down was to make us small or believe that we weren't anything. And so I think there's a lot of this that we're fleshing out and we're recognizing, not to put us on a pedestal. Like, even though the fairy tales say that, become a princess and, have the world at your feet. And it's like, no, that's not it either. We're here to really connect in, be one, unify in a way that humans really haven't before. And that means I am here to honor the masculine in me as a woman and the feminine in me, just as much as men are to honor the feminine within them and the masculine within them. So coming together, really unifying and honoring, but at the same time, and I think, Jacqueline, you'll probably be able to speak to the ancestral aspects and, just these lineages of how men thought they were to perform and protect and produce, and women were to nurture and educate and take care. And we've been shifting this. It's been getting really blurry. Where are the lines? Because we have dual income homes. Both partners, if they're male and female, are working, and if they're same sex, they're working and having to create, like the balance in work and in life and at home, and who does the chores and who does the cooking and who takes care of the kids. And there's a lot. So I'm just going to let you, Jacqueline, start to unpack wherever you want to go with this.
Oh my God. So yeah, what's coming through? So I mean, when I came from an Italian family, right? My mother was Italian, my father was a farmer, and there were clearly strict, like the guy works on the cars, and brings home the paycheck, the woman stays home, takes care of the house, the kids, all of it, does the cooking and the cleaning and all of that, right? Um, and yet when I had my kids, my younger son, um, he was a manifesting generator, if you know human design. And if not, definitely hook up with Alana. So he had a lot of energy. So he followed me around. I taught him how to cook. I taught him, like, we did art stuff. We did everything, cleaning. And today, and as he's growing up and a husband and a father, he cooks, he cleans, he does and works, does it all, right? Takes care of the kids. Like, he's a totally different father than what I grew up with. And even in my marriage, we both worked, but my husband, when we had kids, he got up in the morning, went to work. I got up, I still worked. I was the one who gathered the kids, got their food, brought them to daycare, brought them wherever they had to go. He did a couple days, but I still put stuff together. And I had we say we train our husbands, right? Or decondition our husbands. So I do believe that there's a lot of confusion for men right now. Like, who are they? Are they the breadwinner? Are they the person? We're asking, I guess maybe they're going through the same thing women did in the 50s, right? When they were like, you can bring home the bacon, cook it up in a pan. Like, I guess they're going through this confusion just like we went through it, right? But where does it land for them? And who are their role models of, yes, you can do it all, but let's also talk about your feelings and your emotions and, talk about those things. And I still don't think we're talking enough about that to help everybody manage this transition. Because I think it's beautiful to have everybody rise to the occasion of what's possible, right? I mean, we have so many luxuries today. My grandmother didn't have the washing machine, all these dishwasher, all these things, a stove, right? It was different back then. So now that we have all these things to help us, we're still kind of trapped some parts of the old ways. And so I think there is a lot of confusion. And I would love to see in schools, like, let's talk more about your feelings so that men and women can rise to the occasion. The women have mastered it. The women of today, like, oh my God, these young ladies in high school and college, they're doing everything and they're incredible, right? So I'd like to see a little bit more balance between the masculine and the feminine.
Yeah. And it really starts within, and when we're older, it's all we got. You're unless you go seek help, but for the
Yeah,
children, as both mom and dad or dads or moms are raising their children, it's helping them to feel whole. And
yeah,
you're bringing up a great point with the emotional piece, because even though, yes, we can say women have mastered emotions, I don't know that we have. And that,
no,
like in all reality, because we've also learned that if I'm going to rise up to match the men in the industry that I'm in or the workforce, there's no place for emotions. And that's
right,
like a whole other thing that, whether we talk about today or in another conversation, because if I want to be like the men, I'm now going to think like the men and I have to act like the men, which means there's no space for emotions. And yet I do think it could be culturally different in places, because I know we were even just watching a show. It was based in Japan, and it's like all these athletes and they're competing. And I would say almost every single one of them, mostly men that were on the show, every single one of them cried at some point because
wow,
of the sheer, like, either the sadness of the loss, or like losing, or they weren't good enough, or whatever it was. And I
yeah,
really loved that, because emotion isn't weakness. To cry is not weakness. There's such
right,
power in it.
yeah,
And when we don't release it, then we get stuck, just the emotions looping and becoming like stuck within us and playing out the patterns in our life.
yeah,
There's a lot
exactly.
here. Yeah. So, Sunshine, I would love to hear what you have to share with all of us.
I love what you're both sharing. It's a beautiful, kind of intense conversation, right? Because there's just so much moving on. And I love how you spoke about love, Alana, and that we are like, it's not like about doing, it's about being. And Jacqueline, you spoke about, how generational and ancestral, it's all changing. And when I am doing any form of session and I'm tapped in spiritually and working with groups or individuals here, there's no male or female, or masculine or feminine, right? It's all a combination of one. So we do have it within us. It's our conditioning, it's societal, right? It's the way our brain can compute pretty thick, like pretty much all kinds of things as if we label it. And that's kind of a distortion, right? And it is all about like the pure love and pure acceptance. And that you've mentioned before, understanding, Alana, right? That everything comes within and then out. And we have transitioned in our physical body like never before, right? Like we have evolved, and it seems that with that, there's been a lot of not ancestral pain, ascension pain, and so say if we were on a merry-go-round ride of life, right? Very busy, the way society wants us to be, the way we're conditioned to, so we don't have time to stop and do that inner work. We don't have time to feel our feelings and emotions. And that's why we're here. That's where our lessons and treasures and gifts and golden nuggets are. That's where we're doing our healing and evolving of our soul. But we're bypassing that, right? We're not embodying it because we're doing and doing and doing and doing just as society wants us to, just as society wants to instill us with fear, right? That fear is actually, yes, we have to have fear, but if our life isn't in danger, then it's a false evidence appearing real, right? But it becomes our whole foundation. So it seems like we're bypassing, right? And always searching for ourselves. If we're not only on that merry-go-round that's normally busy, busy anyways, but it's like spinning like crazy right now. Everything has sped up because we've ascended. Everything has changed. And it seems that we are kind of like afloat, right? And feel um maybe more chaotic or getting our footing or every day having to take that time and take a deep breath and ground if that's what we're doing and really perceive and have a perception of what's transpired through the day. I think everything's shifting because it's going more into the universe and into that oneness, but it all has to start with us, right? And everything outside of that, outside of ourselves, is falling away because we're to live in our true essence. We're not to live by the labels we've been given, and like follow and follow and follow, kind of do like a puppet. You want me to do what, when, right? It's all falling down. That matrix is all breaking. So it feels like we're spinning and spinning faster and faster and faster. But the time is now to do that beautiful inner work. If you have somebody that um, has, that you follow or you watch, or that really feels like they're speaking directly to you, and you have that calling, make that connection, reach out, right? Because we are given beautiful, huge gifts right now to step into becoming our full selves and speaking our truth. Everything else that isn't our truth is falling away. People, right? When we're here to practice as souls first, having a human experience, relationships are very important. It doesn't mean keeping those relationships forever and ever and ever. What that means is being open that people will come and go in your life because it's where you're at, and you both equally receive treasures and gifts and lessons from one another. But we're so trained and conditioned to think we have to hang on to things that have expired. So the female and the male, masculine and feminine, are how we've always known them, are really, really changing up, right? Really, really, really changing up. And like you had said, Alana, like it's a very if we how we're trained and how we're conditioned is to look at feminine and masculine like as separate things, right? But realistically, we have it all in us and they're all coming together. And it's about balancing and harmonizing all that, just as much as giving and receiving, just as much living in our physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual and ether bodies, and realizing that things are constantly changing and shifting because we are all energy. Nothing can stay the same, but we fight so hard and it takes so much life force to be like, okay, no, I'm female and this is what I'm experiencing and this is what I'm doing and this is what's transpiring, and not seeing outside of that, right? That is more the conditioned self rather than that a soul self, when we're soul like, this is the way it is and there's no other way, and fighting that, right? And using so much life force in that. So it's opening up to more and more stuff and making everything equal, not one way or the other way anymore. That's all heart-centered, that's all pure love and pure acceptance. And I do believe that's the way we're headed.
Mm. Yeah, I love
So
that.
thank you.
Thank you. And the resistance piece, right? We resist ourselves. We resist these parts of ourselves. It's almost like we fear the judgment of, if I'm not too feminine, that or I resist being too masculine because of these judgment layers. And so I think this identity part is really a big piece of the conversation, right? What is your identity? And let's be honest, most of it's ego laden. Most of it is just this meat suit. It's not even our true soul essence. And so now we come in, we choose which meat suit. Do we have a penis or a vagina? It's like, which one do I want? And now it's like becoming, I don't know, maybe I don't want to be that one anymore, or maybe I'm both. And like all of this confusion. So I think that's where I really want to go next, is the confusion in men, in women, in you. Um, what are our roles?
Mm.
And if we're redefining these roles, almost for you, Jacqueline, like, what do you want your role to be? Because let's be honest, no one ever asks us this question, right? Like we just say what we think it should be, but what is your soul really right now, even for you, like in your life or what you see for your sons or your husband or the world around you? Like, what would your soul and your heart really want your role as a woman to be, and what for a man?
For me, and it's taken me a long time to get here, right? Because I was raised not even thinking of what I really wanted. I was raised and created beliefs that other people are more important. So I put all of my things behind. I didn't even know what I wanted. But on my healing journey, like I want so much more for myself now. I want so much more for my family, for my kids. We've been playing small way too long. We've been told not to speak up, not to say certain things. And in 2026, the year of the horse, like I want to bust free of all that. I want all of us to bust free. And it's it's so funny when we say, okay, maybe we're doing goals in our business and we want to reach a certain amount. Or for me, I want to focus on my health this year and really getting into the optimal shape that I would love to be in. But if we look at my money goals, when I ask for certain things, and we all manifest all the time, right? We're all really good manifestors. We just don't know how it's coming to us. So it's so funny. I talked to our financial advisor and he gave me an update of what happened last year. And he's like, wow, you're up 14%. And, we made $250,000 last year. And I was like, the that's the number that I've been looking to create in my own business. So I didn't have to work for it. It came in through my investments. And it happens all the time, right? So what are we doing here? If what if we could just function and live our lives without having to do so much? We've been so conditioned to believe that we have to work, 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 do, and constantly, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? And the more I back away from that and say, no, I'm not doing that anymore, I get supported by the universe in so many other ways. So, who are we really as human beings? What if we really could just only work a few hours a day, right? And be completely supported? What if we were so aligned with our goals that they just showed up without having to spend 24/7 focusing on it, worrying about it, and being so intense over it, right? Which is what I find so many people that come to me. I was even just talking with a friend, and she must have said, I worry about my retirement. I worry about this. Wait a minute. Why are you worrying so much? Just focus on what you want. We're so conditioned, like you said, Alana, that this fear-based energy is in all of us. It's in ourselves. We talk about it so much like it's the truth. And now it's like I want to put a BS to that and say we have to reframe all this. And when you reframe it and you really take accountability for that, oh my God, things that show up, right? That life really can be just, I want more ease, flow, and abundance. I want to travel more. I want to like see the world. I want to spend more time with my grandkids. There's just so much more to life than just working all the time or being afraid to be yourself, right? And I think that's what frustrates me more is the worry and the anxiety, the young kids, 9 year olds who are saying, it's my anxiety. What have we done to our children to have them even say, a 9 year old say, well, it's my anxiety? What have we created? This is not how it's supposed to be. I don't want children focusing on their anxiety. Like,
Yeah.
what have we done? What have we done? And how can we get them? How can we reverse all this? And I'm not sure I've gone off topic, but I want more peace in the world. And I want more people to be educated that they are more powerful than they think. They really are. And
Yeah.
when they stand in their power, they can create so much more ease, flow, and abundance for themselves.
Yeah. And I love the piece that I'm pulling with the work side and the confusion, right? Especially whether we're male or female. We all, in the end, we all want to live a happy, prosperous life, joyful, travel, enjoy whatever it is that our heart desires. And yet we're already confused even in our work roles, right? Because like you're saying, there's the man that thinks they have to be the breadwinner, but now you have the woman who's like, no, I have to be the breadwinner. And in the end, we're all just fighting and resisting our
Yeah.
beingness, which is I actually just want to go travel and explore and experience life. Like that's a want. That's okay. But then we feel guilty and we feel bad
Yes.
for that because, but I should go after the $1 million dream or whatever the money piece is. And I will say that my perspective is then you're going to be the type A workaholic that never actually enjoys and lives life. And if the stress and the worry and the anxiety keeps you on that hamster wheel,
Yeah.
when will you choose to get off of it? When will
Yeah.
you choose peace within to have the peace without?
Yeah. And that energy goes into everything you create, everything.
Yeah. And that's why the kids are picking it up. Right? They feel, and to me, this is why the human design and knowing the mechanics of your energy and what energy is yours that you're emanating and which energy do you pick up from the world. Most energy these children are feeling is usually not even theirs.
Yeah. Yeah. And if we are all frequency and a child, before they can even speak, what are they tuning into?
Yeah.
Your energy, your worry, your anxiety, all of that. So if we can get every mother to understand that, that that's what they're tuning into, that that's why it's so important for every parent to do the work to release that fear and anxiety so that they can be whole and complete and present with their children instead of worrying about something.
Yeah.
Something that may
Yeah.
not even happen. Yeah.
Yes. And it's this piece that ties into then our nervous system being dysregulated and it tuning into this field. And really what I am creating for myself and what I see going forward. This is the new earth aspect is we're no longer effort based, we're presence based. And
Mm.
our beingness already is the ripple of the calm or the groundedness or the stability that we all seek. And oftentimes we still look outside ourselves to the bank account and go, oh, this makes me feel good. This makes me feel safe. This
Yeah,
makes me feel secure.
yeah.
And really, it still won't because at any given moment, life happens
Mhm.
and life is shifting and things are evolving. So I think this just, money is just another layer too that adds to this confusion for men and women. What are our roles? And so, Sunshine, I would love to hear from you in this question of the confusion. What is it that you want? Like really see for yourself and be, beyond into the world. Like, what do you want these roles to really be?
Oh, that is a huge question now, isn't it, Alana?
Yes, it is.
Hmm. Being within me, a really important part um, is that we do have that pure love and pure acceptance of oneself and others, right? We're all playing different roles in different costumes here with different things. We're all doing the same thing to love, to heal, to evolve. But we're wearing different vehicles or vessels or temples or whatever to do that. And we're here to like heal and evolve our soul. To me, we're soul first, and then we have all this. And, I honestly believe if we had that pure love, if everybody, all the billions of people on earth stopped and just thought of love, I honestly believe we can have a flavor of heaven on earth here. And, you know, as far as judgment or concerned about what other people are thinking or saying, or, you know, that's just like what matters is what you think and how you feel within the inside. And that's what I wish for our planet is love and peace and happiness instead of doing these spins and desiring everybody else's, needing everybody else's approval. And we get so far from what our core is and what we're here to do, right? And if we're here to love, to heal, to evolve, which healing means moving forward in all things to me, then if we're just spinning and spinning all the time, we're not feeling, we're not actually, everything's happening outside of us, then we're not doing those transitioning and healing and taking those treasures and gifts if we're just spinning, right? We have to embody it. We have to be. I wish for love for everybody, for oneself, and for acceptance and love of others, and for us to be so we can actually take our experiences with us. Because if we are just out there and spinning and doing on to others all the time and not happy, right? Like happiness is a huge thing for me too. Then we're bypassing. We're just burning up our life energy here on the planet, which can be taken away at any moment, just like that, because it's time. And we don't know when our time is going to be, but we put so much effort into everything outside of ourselves. So look at how many people, work all their lives, say it's say they have their own business or say they work for somebody else or and they put 98% of them into that every day and retirement comes. A lot of people get ill when they retire. A lot of people pass when they're retire. And a lot of people could become depressed when retirement comes. We have it ass backwards. That 98, 99% of us should always be within us. And we should give a little bit outside of ourselves, right? Society has made up the monetary, the money, but society made it up, but it's still there for all us to access. Jacqueline, you mentioned, I think it was you, that, and Alana, you speak of this too, the universe, the oneness, God of your understanding, whatever it may be, there's enough monetary there for us all to access. Everything is equal. It's understanding that and doing our own work, right? We we may say open up spiritually. And then we have like an moment and it changes our whole life. But we don't move forward from that. We stay stuck within that, right? Instead of taking in new tools, or we could have had a mentor or a teacher way back and they were amazing and they were incredible but they're not here anymore on the physical. But we can be stuck on, oh, geez, this happened to me, but it's always transpiring. It's always changing. We're always in transition of every moment of everything, right? And we can get stuck so easily. And our goals can be so far outside of ourselves that we can figure that we never, that we set ourselves up for failure or that we're never going to accomplish it. If that's inside of us, then we're not going to reach that, right? I believe anything that we desire, we can reach, right? It's not depending on anybody outside of you to do the work or to hand it over to you. It's you desiring it with your heart, with your soul, with all of your intention. And I I just wish everybody could live with that pure love and pure acceptance. Step into their pure essence, not rely on somebody else. Oh, but he loves me so much. He knows me better than I know myself. Why give that power away? Right? We were talking about our children and anxiety and stress, and our children learn from us. They experience from us, right? It's generational. So how a relationship is in the home right? If there's communication or no communication, that's what they learn. If there's abuse or no abuse, if there's alcohol or no abuse, right? If we can't express as adults how we feel, right? How are our children, right? I think children would actually learn better from other children than us being conditioned and having so many closed off lenses, right? And dark lenses. And a lot of times when it comes to overwhelm, stress, and anxiety, that's actually not what society has labeled it as, that we need medication and we need it fixed, we're broken. That's actually our soul spirit trying to communicate with us, for maybe forewarn us, right? And maybe try to tell us, but if we're not connected that way, right, and centered, we can't feel it. We just allow somebody else to tell us that there's something wrong with us, that we need help. And if we're in a children don't even know language when they first come. It's all vibration, it's all frequency, and it's all energy. And then we instill the language in them, but it doesn't make sense from that language compared to the energy, vibration, and frequency of things, right? So everything at a very young age starts getting confused, because we will feel vibration, energy, and frequency, but then language is put to it, and language can mean completely different than what we're actually feeling. So it's through human experiences that we're losing those gifts, that we're getting shut off and more disconnected from our soul, which is exactly what society would like, right? Because that gives them empowerment and they can instill what they wish. So thank you, Alana, for asking that question, but it's a big question.
Ah,
Mhm.
thank you for sharing your perspective, and especially we all want the love and acceptance and the peace, and yet it can feel that that's like, where's the practicality in that? Or what's the tangible way to get there? And so even for myself, I more and more, I'm starting to finally, as you were saying, Sunshine, being in the energy and the children feel the energy, and before they even have words, there's so much that I could feel, but I didn't understand what was going on. And it really is more and more, I'm 46 at this point. I'm just now starting to be able to articulate the tangible, the verbal, oh my gosh, this is what has been going on. This is what I could feel, and this is why I would run from it. And I think that's helping me to realize more of the tangible desire. I've always wanted for the world, and, want the confusion to go away for the men and women of the world. And yet I'm also recognizing in myself, what do I really want? What do I want my role to be? Well, I've held everybody. I have been the strongest oak tree that is available, or the most powerful, rooted, grounded tree for everyone. I really want someone to hold me, and to realize that it's, if I'm the feminine, the female who's here to nurture and hold everyone, I would love for that to come around, which would mean to connect to the feminine in the masculine to be able to hold me, right? Sure, I can go to any of you, right? I can go to any woman, and some can hug and hold, but some can't, right? Because again, it's the judgment, it's the identity, it's the, I can't really just breathe and release and really just be with you, right? Because it triggers their stuff. So I see that dynamic, that I would love that. I would love for that to be more of the norm for all of us, for a man to see that and just want to hold the woman, or, not the woman always having to go be that energy. And so even with men, I see there's such this identity piece, right? And the ego and the getting big and puffing out the chest, especially when there's another man and there may be this competitive edge. Women are really great at collaborating. Men can be too, in different ways, and yet they can talk shit to each other no big deal, and that's their banter. Women, we do that, and really there's a cattiness or there's an energy that somebody is jealous or envious or hate you. And it's helped me to see that I just really want a moment, a true moment of pure joy. And sometimes I think that really only comes maybe at birth, like when you hold a child and everybody's actually happy. But if you achieve a goal, get the promotion, do something great for yourself, I've always felt that other energy coming from it isn't we could say it's male or female. It's all of us. We're never truly happy for someone. And that judgment comes in and ruins the joyful moment. And so it's these parts that I energetically can feel. And then I think also of sometimes not wanted to even play the game. I don't even want to be a part of it. I don't even want to go after this dream or this true heart's desire because I don't want to deal with the backlash. I don't want to feel all of your guys's pain and suffering that you're going to place on me in this joyful moment. It's the times when people have taken the moment away, like, and I've had those experiences and got married and my mom made it all about her. So it's those kinds of places where you're like, huh, I just I just wanted to have this moment and someone else shares your news, they take your joy and they're excited too, but at the same time that deflates me or I've felt that. And so I can see even with the male, their ego is so tender and it's deflated very easily. And even as women, when we suddenly think we know better and we're the fixers too now, we step in and we give our input and it works. It's instant deflation for them, right? Because we knew better and then we didn't need them. And then what is their purpose? How do they show up? How are they, what are they supposed to do? And they're not good enough. And it's like these cycles, that if you and I are in our intuition and we just have this truth and we speak it, sometimes people don't want to hear it and it's not our place to push it on them. But there's also this place, I see it for both masculine and feminine. I it's I don't need to be right. Men love to be right, but I'm starting to see more and more women love to be right. And to me, you are just going to clash. We're never going to get to that peace and love and acceptance that you both are asking for because inside of us, there's something our ego just won't let go of. And the ego, as long as it's in the way, your pure soul essence and all this love isn't going to come through. So I know we're gonna just kind of like wrap up with some closing thoughts about this. If you guys have like a suggestion of what men or women can do and how to help the children, especially in these coming years, because they're profound years in our evolution to really redefine not just the roles, but our essence, our way of being rather than doing. So, Jacqueline, I'll come back to you.
Yeah, and I know we're getting close to the hour. y- Now you're touching on something else, like this need to be right. And I see that playing out on social media. Everybody in politics, everybody's fighting for their cause. Nobody wins when we're trying to win, when we're trying to fight for our cause. If we could get more to understanding and just get back to let's agree to disagree. There's one side isn't more right than the other. I no longer care if I'm right. I think I went through a whole time when being right meant there was something about me that I could promote or I can love myself. But as we evolve, I don't care if I'm right anymore. I'm just content. I just want to be with you. I don't want to fight over something. I just want to be in your energy. And I don't want somebody also pushing their agenda on me. I just want to be and allow everybody to just be. It's not about, you know, unicorns and rainbows. It's about let's get to the place where we just accept everybody and let's do good for the world, for everybody. Everybody deserves something better. And so yeah, it's something that's really playing out in a big, huge way. And I see even some family members on Facebook, and I'm like, you're not going to win that fight. Why keep posting? But they have their agenda. They're like, I think more people should come up and speak. So, it's a hard place to be right now, really, with everything that's going on. Do I say something or do I stay quiet? Um, but I think energetically as females, we can help the situation from our energy and not sometimes, because sometimes speaking doesn't make sense. And it comes across as pushing or fighting. And I don't want that. My intention is really just to help the world in a better place. I don't want to fight anymore.
Mm, I love that. And it's so perfect. It's just the energy. And as much as we talk about on in these conversations, hiding and seeking and speaking our truth, sometimes what you're saying is to just feel the energy, and really you can feel the chaos and the fighting. And if you can just be the energy to help stabilize it and ground it and bring it back into this coherent place, that's more powerful than you ever saying anything.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Sunshine.
Another thing on where to start. Um, so I would just like to speak with what you guys were talking about. So if we look at the everything with the matrix that's happening, right? And then there's a lot of arguing, fighting, and people picking people apart and judging and all of that stuff. And to me, if we're feeding into that and we have those lower vibrational feelings, which we will have about certain things because we're here to feel, that's where lessons and treasures of gifts are. But if we're doing a lot of like hate, a lot of fear, a lot of different things, then we are feeding right into that person and giving them candies and treats and chocolates, right? We're feeding that exact vibration and frequency and energy that we're saying we don't like. So, as a big matrix, right, as far as what's transpiring, or one on one with somebody or a group with somebody, right? I always think I'll be me and you be you, right? When it comes to the word compassion, that is when you're able to really celebrate somebody's joys, somebody's happiness, somebody's, celebration and promotion. And to me, I've always aimed to tune into that vibration and frequency because then we're putting that into the oneness, right? One more person feeling that pure joy, that pure happiness, that pure love, that pure celebration. If we all come together like that with that compassion and actually feel somebody like that, I've did that all my life, then we're adding to that oneness for even to get bigger and bigger and go up there. Um, so I would just like to clarify to me, right there, there's that and compassion and actually being and feeling like that one person is feeling and tapping into that rather than tapping into something we say that we're not what that we're opposed to and we can't believe it's happening, but yet we're putting all our energy and all time and everything and giving that we so don't believe in cookies and chocolates and treats, right? So to me, there's a really bold line, but that isn't clear for people. And so what you were asking, Alana, like, what do we desire? What do we need? What would we like to what is it that each individual would like to step into, right? And make that your everything in the being of every experience that you have, right? You can change your perspective. You can take those, distorted lenses off and be somebody new and step into that unknown because the unknown can be full of curiosity, wonder, and surprise, right? It can energize you. It can make you feel like alive. It can make you feel empowered. And, that is, I sometimes, humanly, something will come across and we might put a lot of energy into it. And we can if we stop and think about it, we might be like, whew, I'm putting a lot of thought into this. So ever since I was a little wee, if something comes up like that, maybe my feelings have been hurt, or I'm trying to maybe grasp on what did they really mean about that. I tried to clarify, but it still didn't feel good. But you're still putting a lot of energy into it when you're showering, before you go to bed, when you wake up, say. So if that is happening, you know, I've always asked myself, okay, so how can I get a clear perspective on this? And spirit will say to me something like, if you weren't here at this moment, or that other person wasn't here and they were up there, would any of this matter right now? And the answer is no, right? We can get so caught up, right? And a lot of distortion that happens around us, and being caught up and stuck in it isn't helping us grow, or helping us love ourselves or somebody else, right? So thank you, Alana.
Mhm. Thank you, both of you. I know this is a big conversation. This is our second part. Probably could keep going with multiple parts. So everyone just take a deep breath. Thank you for witnessing this and this flow. And I would just say to everyone that's watching, breathe. When you're in it and you're feeling it and your ego comes up and you don't even know what that looks like, or the emotions come up and you want to stifle them, whatever that is, just take a breath and just be a witness to what is actually moving through you, because we want the movement, we want the completion, we don't want the looping anymore. And you are masculine and you are feminine, and it's your choice how you get to unify those two pieces. So make sure that you share your own experiences in the comments below. It's an absolute honor to be here with both Jacqueline and Sunshine and you, our beautiful audience. And if there's anything specific you want us to share and talk about, a topic, please share that with us too. All right. Love you all. Mwah. Bye for now.